The 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar was part of America's first attempt to make a small-sized dollar coin. Before this, the large Eisenhower dollar was too big and heavy, and most people simply didn't like carrying it. So in 1979, the United States Mint introduced the Susan B. Anthony dollar, smaller and lighter, with a portrait of Susan B. Anthony, a leader who fought for women's rights. The back of the coin shows an eagle landing on the moon, the same design used on the Eisenhower dollar. The Denver Mint, marked with a D, produced millions of these coins. Even though the design was strong, the coin became unpopular quickly because it looked and felt too much like a quarter. People confused the two coins all the time. But while the public didn't use them much, collectors today search for certain rare varieties and errors, especially those from the Denver Mint, because those rare pieces can be worth life-changing money. Even though the 1979 D is usually common, a tiny number of them have valuable mint errors that turn a $1 coin into a treasure. Most 1979 D. Anthony dollars are worth only $1 or $2, maybe a few dollars in uncirculated condition. But once you get into high grades or special errors, the price jumps fast. A perfect grade 1979 D dollar can sell for hundreds or over $1,000. A rare mint error can push value into the thousands, tens of thousands, and in some cases six-figure levels for dramatic mistakes. That's why coin collectors and treasure hunters always check every Anthony dollar they find. One of the biggest things collectors look for in 1979 D dollars are major mint errors, because these are far more valuable than normal coins. Some of the most valuable mistakes include off-center strikes, where the design is pushed to one side. If the coin is off-center enough and the date is still visible, the value jumps into the hundreds or thousands. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more money the coin can bring. A major off-center strike on a 1979 D. Anthony dollar can easily reach $2,000, $3,000, even $5,000 if it's clean and certified. Another money-making mistake is the wrong planchet error. This happens when the dollar design is struck on a blank meant for another type of coin. For example, some rare Anthony dollars have been struck on quarter planchets, making the coin smaller and lighter than normal. These mistakes are incredibly valuable. A wrong planchet 1979 D dollar can sell for $10,000 to $20,000, depending on how rare and dramatic the mistake is. Even rarer are Anthony dollars struck on foreign coin planchets. These can fetch extremely high prices, sometimes over $30,000 or more, because only a few examples are known. There are also clipped planchet errors, where part of the coin is missing due to the metal blank being cut incorrectly. These look like someone took a big bite out of the coin. A dramatic clipped planchet on a 1979 D. Anthony dollar can be worth hundreds or thousands, especially if the rest of the coin is clean. Another major source of value comes from high-grade coins. When collectors talk about grades, they're talking about how perfect the coin is. Most coins have scratches, marks, or wear from being used. But a rare few survive in extremely clean, almost untouched condition. A 1979 D in grade MS-66 can be worth tens of dollars. MS-67 can be worth several $100s. MS-68 can break into the thousands. And a perfect MS-69 or MS-70. Those can explode in value. Perfect grade Anthony dollars are so rare that collectors will pay $5,000, $10,000, or more for the best examples. Finding one of these perfect coins in an old set or in a forgotten stash would be an incredible surprise. The interesting thing about the 1979 D is that while it doesn't have the wide rim variety that the Philadelphia Mint has, the Denver coins shine in the world of mint errors. The Denver Mint is known for producing strong, sharp strikes, but when mistakes do happen, they stand out clearly, which is great for collectors. This means that any 1979 D with noticeable doubling, striking issues, planchet problems, or mechanical errors can have serious value. If you want to check your own 1979 D Susan B. Anthony dollars, here is what to look for. First, examine the coin closely under good light. Check if the design looks centered. If it appears shifted, that may be an off-center strike. Next, check for doubling on the lettering, the date, or Anthony's face. Doubling can add a premium depending on how strong it is. Then check the edges and the shape of the coin. If it looks smaller, lighter, or oddly shaped, it may be a wrong planchet error or clipped planchet. These are worth getting authenticated immediately. Always compare your coin to known images online so you can see what the errors look like. And if anything seems unusual, anything at all, you should consider sending it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC, because a verified error or high grade can multiply the value dramatically. The fun part about the 1979 D. Anthony dollar is that you don't need special tools or years of experience to find a rare one. All you need is your eyes, a little patience, and the willingness to check the coins you already own. Every rare Anthony dollar discovered today comes from someone who decided to take a closer look. And with rare errors worth hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, and in the most extreme cases over $100,000, the potential reward is massive. The story of the Susan B. Anthony dollar begins with the United States Mint trying to replace the large, heavy Eisenhower dollars of the 1970s. People complained that the big dollar coins were too large to carry, so in 1979 the Mint released a new, smaller dollar made of copper nickel and about the size of a quarter. The coin showed Susan B. Anthony, a famous leader who fought for women's rights. The idea sounded good, but the new coin had a problem: it looked too much like a quarter. Many people confused the two coins, making the Anthony dollar unpopular. Even though the public didn't love the coin, collectors today absolutely do, especially when it comes to the rare and valuable errors from the Philadelphia Mint, the ones marked with a P. Now here's where the big money comes in. Not all 1979 P. Anthony dollars are the same. A few have mint errors or varieties that make them incredibly valuable. The most famous is the 1979 P. wide rim, also called the near-date variety. On this coin, the date is much closer to the edge than normal, giving the rim a wide look. This wasn't meant to happen, it was caused by a different style of die used early in production. Most of the coins have the normal rim, but the wide rim version is scarce, especially in high grade. And here is the exciting part: a common 1979 P dollar is worth only $1, maybe a few dollars in uncirculated condition. But a wide rim version in high mint state can be worth hundreds to thousands of dollars. Collectors have paid $1,000 to $3,000 for stunning examples. And if you find a perfect, high-grade certified wide rim, those can reach $5,000 or more. All because the date sits a little closer to the rim. There are also rare die errors on some 1979 P. Anthony dollars. These include double dies, off-center strikes, and other mint mistakes that increase value. A strong double die example, where parts of the lettering or design appear doubled, can bring hundreds or thousands depending on strength and grade. An off-center strike, where the design is not centered on the coin, can sell for huge premiums. The bigger the off-center and as long as the date is visible, the more valuable the coin is. Some dramatic off-center Anthony dollars have sold for $1,000 to $5,000, and extremely rare ones can reach even higher. Another exciting category includes wrong planchet errors, where the 1979 P dollar was struck on a blank meant for another coin. For example, a Susan B. Anthony dollar struck on a quarter planchet is smaller and lighter than normal and highly valuable. These mistakes can easily reach $10,000 to $20,000 depending on condition. And here's the shocking part: a few extremely rare Anthony dollars have been struck on foreign coin planchets. These unusual pieces can bring tens of thousands of dollars at major auctions. Some of these errors are so rare that only one or two examples are known, making them worth more than most people ever expect from a coin. Now let's talk about something that makes collectors lose their minds: perfect grade coins. A 1979 P. Anthony dollar in perfect MS-70 condition is incredibly hard to find. Most coins get tiny scratches or marks during minting or handling. A few lucky examples that survive without flaws can become extremely valuable. Perfect grade specimens of rare varieties, especially the wide rim, can reach 5 figures. That means a single small dollar coin could be worth $10,000, $20,000, or even more if the right combination of variety and condition comes together. That's why collectors search roll after roll, bag after bag, hoping to find that one special coin. The key to understanding why these coins are so valuable is rarity. The normal 1979 P. Anthony dollar was produced in massive numbers, hundreds of millions. But the special varieties, like the wide rim, were made only briefly. And mint errors? Those happen completely by accident, sometimes only once. If the press jams for a moment, if the die breaks just right, if the wrong blank slips into the machine, you get a 1 in a million collectible. Combine that with high-grade, coins with no scratches or marks, and you get pieces that collectors fight over at auction. That is why these small mistakes turn into big money. If you want to check your own 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollars, here's what to look for. First, examine the rim and the date. On the wide rim, the date looks much closer to the edge than usual. The rim looks thick and bold. Compare it to pictures online or from a coin guide to be sure. Next, look for doubling on the lettering or date. Check for any unusual shapes or ghost images. Also check for off-center strikes. If the design looks pushed to one side, that's good. And finally, if the coin looks smaller, lighter, or strange in color, you might have a wrong planchet error. That's worth getting graded as soon as possible. Grading companies like PCGS and NGC can confirm what type of variety you have and give it an official grade. If you suspect your coin is special, it's worth sending it in, because the difference in price between ungraded and graded coins can be enormous. And the moment that label comes back showing wide rim or mint error, your coin turns from ordinary pocket change into a treasure.